So welcome to the guided casting of the I Ching. If you've never used the I Ching before, you may find this useful. It's written on my, in the PDF for this class, and it's written in the back of most I Chings how to cast it with coins. Yarrow stocks are a very traditional way. It's more time-consuming, but it involves a certain amount of intention, and it also increases your interaction with the natural world. And I highly recommend any ways that you find to be the most valuable. We are going to use the coins, which is probably the most common and universal way of using it. So first I would like you to write down a question that you want to ask. For me, I could write down, what is it that, what will be the effect of my having taught this class and created an online video. So what I would recommend doing is writing that down. You kind of commit it more to a Jing level form. By choosing the words that you have maybe refined your intention. But if you're possibly not, you might want to leave it a bit more open-ended. And if you've used the I Ching a lot, you can start to just use it to just kind of see, what's the feeling of the day. So that can kind of help you, prepare, be proactive about how the day is going to go, like any meditative practice. So I recommend having a piece of paper out so that you can write down your results, and that way you don't have to tax your memory so hard. After a while I started doing it without writing the lines down, just so that I could see if I could remember it. But it does create a little bit of margin for error. So here we go. We're going to cast line 1, which is going to be 2 heads and a tail. So the heads are going to be 3 points, equal 3. So we have 3, 3, and 2, so that's going to be a yin line at the bottom. So there we have yin line at the bottom. And now we have heads and 2 tails. That's 3, 2, and 2, which is an odd number. And that's going to be a yang line. And now again we have heads and 2 tails, another yang line. So that is going to be wind as the bottom trigram. And now we're going to keep doing the upper line, which is going to be 3 tails. That's a yin and a changing line. So you can see with that last one, put a little circle by it to let me know that it's a changing line, because there'll be more commentaries or added commentaries regarding the situation, and it will also lead me into another hexagram if I choose to take it that far. Now we have 3 heads, so another changing line. This is a yang changing line. And then, for the top one, dun, 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 we have a yang and 2 yin. So we have heads and 2 tails, which is an odd number. 3 plus 2 plus 2, 7. And so that's going to be a yang line. So now what I have here is, I have the same trigram in the top as I do in the bottom. This is wind over wind. So, very auspicious, as we say in I Ching talk. I mean, everything's auspicious. But there's only 8 possible options where you would have the same trigram above as you would below. So I don't necessarily know all these things. I forget them. That's why I like to use the I Ching, so that I can kind of internalize which ones are which. I probably know like 20 of them if I looked at it. So wind over wind, we're going to go back into one of our books, and we have a section here. This one's a little bit bent from overuse. But you can see there'll be a table in the back of your book that has all how your trigrams form a hexagram. So what you'll have is you'll go the lower trigram up to and match it with an upper trigram, and that'll tell you the number so that you can go to the book and get your commentary. All books are pretty much set up that way for the I Ching. So wind over wind is going to be, boom, 57. So I would go to whatever book I'm using to look up 57. This book here is called Myths for Change by Stephen Karcher. Very poetic. It's from the Zhou dynasty and has a lot of shamanic imagery, a bit more mythological imagery. So if you resonate with that, this one can be extremely powerful. This one is by Carol Anthony. It's a guide to the I Ching. This is a woman who meditated on the I Ching, and she sort of shares the way that her meditations work and the insights that are provided. A lot of this has some nice Western psychoanalytical terms, And it's very good at helping you recognize when you're not taking responsibility for your projections or not taking responsibility for your part in any given situation. It's the ego mechanisms, those defense mechanisms, that this book does a great job of helping you refine that responsibility and ownership that you can take of these mechanisms in yourself, and help and keep growing. You know, have compassion with yourselves while you grow, but you know you can grow to minimize you know the autopilot effect. So, and then the last one here is the Wilhelm Baines. This one is a very scholarly one. It has a lot of background material from Confucius, as you know, the Confucian school, and it also has 50 pages by Carl Jung, which are a great commentary, and you know, a lot of history in this one. Sometimes this is a little dry for people that are highly intuitive. I find that most of the time that the images will still hit me. I'll sort of read between the lines, and this one works very well for me for the most part. So I've used all three of these depending on how deeply I'm trying to go, and also depending on you know, what the situation is. So let's see, did we get to Wind Over Wind? Yes, 57, but we never actually read what that is. So let's see what it is in Stephen Karcher. 57 is subtle penetration. So we're moving forward in our lives and in our destiny by by creating these online materials. Hopefully we'll get to help you learn things. Hopefully we'll get to meet some of you, and it'll be a wonderful experience. It's also known as the gentle, soon over soon. So here we have gentle penetrating. And again, that's what I find that the I Ching does, is that it allows you to sort of soften your boundaries, because you can kind of claim responsibility for where you are, and then you don't have to be rigid in your defense mechanisms. So here is for subtly moving forward in the world and creating rippling effects, and may you do the same. May they radiate joy for you and your patients. Thank you.